you chase money, it's just going to run away. You need to attract money. If you just chase money, it's going to run away. You cannot just chase money. You need to chase what you're going to buy with that money. Like, what is your goal? Write down 20 goals, cross out the last 15, and focus on the first 5. What do you want to buy with that money? What is your why? Every time I had a job, I wasn't part of the furniture. I was part of the luggage. So when a ship sinks, the luggage gets thrown off first. Success is what you want to do on a daily basis. If money didn't exist, what would you do on a daily basis? And that is success if you're currently doing it. If money didn't exist, what would you be doing? Would you be flying around the world? Would you use your plane ticket like a bus pass? Would you be eating French food? Would you be eating Spanish food? Would you be eating in 7 countries in 7 weeks? What would you be doing? That is success to me. The easiest way to make money is to find a starving crowd and feed them.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Need to Succeed podcast. And like I always say, this show's all about bringing in incredible entrepreneurs and really just understanding their journeys. Because look, here's the thing. Oftentimes what happens is you could get 2 people who go through the exact same situation. And one person decides, because of this situation, I can no longer achieve the things that I want to achieve in my life. And the other person in the exact same situation makes a decision and says, I am going to change my life for the better. Same situation, different outcomes. Now, what is the difference between those 2 people? I would argue is the mindset, and that is exactly what we look to uncover on this podcast. And today, you can see from the smile on my face, I am super excited because we have an absolutely incredible guest. The first time I came across this gentleman, I couldn't believe what I was seeing because there is no one doing what he's doing in the UK. He is an entrepreneur. He is an e-commerce expert. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Devon, entrepreneur.
Thank you, my bro. How are you?
I'm super excited, bro. Like, listen, you came in here, you just exude inspiration, bro.
This podcast is one of the podcasts I listen to. I listen to a few, but this one I listen to every day. As you know, on Instagram, we're always chopping it up, we're always chatting. And today, I'm coming to flame it up, man. Coming to tell my story, inspire people so how they can do the same, man.
I'm super excited. And look, speaking about inspiration, we've got a tradition on the podcast. And the very first question is, what does success actually mean to you, bro?
Wow, I haven't been asked that in a long time. Success is the worthy ideal of a realization. So what you want to do on a daily basis, getting that done. It's not, to me, it's not about being a billionaire, a millionaire. That doesn't mean success. Success is what you want to do on a daily basis. If money didn't exist, what would you do on a daily basis? And that is success if you're currently doing it. If money didn't exist, what would you be doing? Would you be flying around the world? Would you use your plane ticket like a bus pass? Would you be eating French food? Would you be eating Spanish food? Would you be eating in 7 countries in 7 weeks? What would you be doing? That is success to me.
Listen, I'll be eating my pounded yam on the bun of soup.
That's success, man.
That's my thing. But listen, I know exactly what you mean. It's so. See, sometimes when we have these conversations, people saying they're going, yeah, but it's cool because you're there now. You can say this, like, but the things that you've just said there, like, you need money to do those things, right? So even though you're saying like it's not about the money, what you're saying is focus on the things that you actually want to be doing every single day, and then figure out a way to put yourself in a position where you can be doing those things. And yes, the money is going to come, but if you only focus on the money, then the reality is it's not a strong enough driver to get you there, is it?
No way. Like, if you chase money, it's just going to run away. You need to attract money. If you just chase money, it's going to run away. It's just a piece of paper until it's used. You cannot just chase money. You need to chase what you're going to buy with that money. Like, what is your goal? Write down 20 goals, cross out the last 15, and focus on the first 5. What do you want to buy with that money? What is your why? Is it your mum? Does your mum work for somebody she's never met? Is that your why?
Wow.
That's my why. My mum works for somebody she's never met. How can I become? That's my why. What's your drive? It's not just money. It's to change lives. You only you get 2 lives. Your second life begins when you realize you got 1. You get 2 lives. Your second life begins when you realize you've got 1. When does your second life begin? You have to ask yourself this.
Wow.
My second life began when I realized that if I allow someone to feed me, I allow someone to starve me.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
So if you put your life in somebody's hands, if you do lose your job or if you do lose your income, don't be upset at the company. Don't be mad at them because sometimes it's out of their hands. So every time I had a job, I wasn't part of the furniture. I was part of the luggage. So when a ship sinks, the luggage gets thrown off first. And that's what happened to me. So if you earn at work between 18,000 and 30,000, your job is not really difficult and it's not really hard for somebody else to do. So if you get sacked from your job, there can be somebody in your seat by 10. So if you're in that range from 18 to 30,000, then you need a second stream of income yesterday. You need a second stream of income yesterday. Then you need to understand how money works. So if you ever lose your job or ever lose your income, you'll be fine. Because in the next 12 months, it's going to get really difficult. A lot of people are going to lose their job. But if you have a second stream of income, if you have somebody that pays you every single month on the 1st, on the 5th, then you'll be okay.
Wow. You know, bro, like there's so many things that you said in there that I hope people really didn't miss that because it was so powerful.
If you allow someone to feed you, you allow someone to starve you. You need a second stream of income. You need some protection. If you fall, where's your knee pads? Where's your helmet? You need something. It's not about being rich. It's about ensuring that you can survive. Are you part of the furniture or are you part of the luggage?
Because a lot of people talk about that sort of financial freedom and it's a buzzword that goes around, especially in the coaching industry, but it's like, what does it really mean? You know, and when I ask people that question, sometimes people can't really define it, but it is that once you've got, I call it financial certainty, right? Because now you've got that certainty of, you know what, no matter what happens out there in the economy, like we're good. We can still do what we want, you know, whenever we want. We're not really affected by the economic, you know, fluctuations. You know, that's where you're comfortable. But if you're not in that position, yeah, that's got to be the goal. But people are looking for, because people make it sound really simple, people are looking for this big money instead of looking at how do I go to a financially certain position first, and then we can then figure out how to sort of build from there. Of course, right? Of course. But bro, like what I'd love to do, I definitely want to come back to this topic because you touched on something there which is really, really important. People need to understand over the next 12 months, you know, like I'm Nigerian, but you know, the Caribbeans will say sufferation. Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to say.
A lot of that is coming, yeah. So like people need to understand this, what we're going to do to mitigate that. But let's just take it all back because, bro, you see, what you're talking right now, I'm looking at you and I'm listening to you and I know like this is someone who is...
I'm passionate.
Yeah, not just passionate, but this is someone who understands the way the world, psychology, business, money, all of that works, right? But we're not born that way.
No way.
Yeah? So I really want to understand and take it back and say like, who was Devon as a kid, for example?
So when I was 12 or 13, my mum used to give me £10 a week for school. I went to Poundland. I had 50 drinks, 50 biscuits, 50 sweets, and I was in the playground selling them like this. That's how it started because I needed money. Like,
why though?
Because I wanted a haircut. I wanted football trainers. They're expensive. They wanted, like, if your mum doesn't have a lot of money and she has to pay bills, she has to pay this, where's the money coming from? It's not her fault. Like, life is difficult. So I got £10 and that made like 15, 18, etc. And with that 18, it made 24 to 26 and I just kept going. Sometimes I would spend, I would drink my own profit and stuff like that. But that was the concept of how I was making money.
How did you, because, you know, the truth is, you know, I went to school with a lot of people who also didn't have money. I also didn't have money growing up, right? But not everyone was selling sweets in school. You know, what made you think like this was a good idea? Like how did you start up doing that?
When the iron's hot, you have to steam. Jamie Oliver came into the school and said, you know what, it's too unhealthy. We're only going to sell healthy foods. So I said, you know what, then the easiest way to make money is to find a starving crowd and feed them. So I said, you know what, if I have drinks, if I have sweets, if I have licorice, if I have biscuits, if I have Panda Pops, I will make some money here. And that was at 13. And I used to just be in the playground after lessons. When the bell rang, I was there, and I used to make like good money.
Wow.
Not good money, but for a kid, I used
Bro,
to have my extra £5,
good money, yeah.
£6.
Because see, back then as well, yeah, the kids would pay. You can double up.
Yeah.
Like you could buy something for 50, sell it for £1, they'll pay it.
And I used to do that. Like Lucas Aids back then, what was it, 6 for £1? I used to tell them like sometimes 50p each and make £3, £2 profit and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Wow. Like, but again, that sort of thing, it's entrepreneurial, and that seems like it's just something that you were able to just analyze and say, well, hang on, if this is no longer available, if I make it available, there's some profits to be made in there, you know, which is really smart. But, you know, what were you like at school? Because that sounded like a smart idea. Were you like a smart kid? Were you someone who didn't really focus on education? Like, what were you like back then?
from year 1 to year 6, I was so intelligent, and from year 6 to year 11, I stayed the same. So when I was in 15, I had the brain of an 11-year-old, or when I was 11, I had the brain of a 15-year-old, and I never stopped growing. I went to all the teachers. They said, "Why is he not growing? You're just staying the same. You just stay the same." So if I got A when I was in Key Stage 2, I went to C in year 9, and then I went to D in year 11, and I never stopped because I stopped learning. I stopped finding it fun. I stopped understanding. Like when I was in Key Stage 2, I used to enjoy going to school because I had a purpose. It was actually fun. And when I went to
What changed? What do you think the purpose was when you were in Key Stage 2, and then what changed in like year 6, year 7?
I think when I went to year 10, it's like I started realizing that this is not fun anymore, and I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. So in school, I got taught about my history and not my future, and this is why I stopped enjoying it. I didn't know where I was going. A lot of people said, you know what, he's going to football when he's 16. He's going to be going to electrics. I didn't know what I was going to do. And when I hit year 10, I stopped enjoying it. Geography, history, art. Like, I don't want to bake a cake. I wanted to know about money from a young age.
Wow.
I don't want to learn how to dance. Show me how money works. I don't want to learn how to bake an apple crumble if I can't buy the ingredients.
I said I don't want to learn how to dance.
I don't want to learn how to dance. I want to learn how money works. Like, and I realized the people who create the school curriculum, their kids don't attend those types of schools. That's why you're taught how to break dance in school and not about money. That's why you're taught about your history, not about your future. Because the people who write the school curriculums, their kids don't attend those types of schools. And it took me a long time to understand why the school curriculum's like this. Because if you keep all people the same, they're easy to control.
Yeah.
But if you have money and you live life on your terms, you're very difficult to control. You do your own thing.
100%. I mean, that's obviously a difficult mindset to have. And if it sounds to me like you became apathetic and just kind of thought, well, where am I really going? I don't understand. So you're not putting that effort into the education anymore. The grade slips. Like, what happens? Did that remain till you finished GCSE in year 11 or?
That remained till like college, man. It's because even when I went college, I didn't know why I went college. I went because everyone went. Yeah, what are you doing after school? I'm going to college. So I went. What are you not doing? Because if you say, you know what, you're not going to college, you just look weird, you look odd. So if I had a mentor at 16 that said, you know what, I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to pay your expenditure, your train fare, and I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about business, about how money works. I would have went with him. But I was looking for somebody like that, and I just never found one.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's interesting to say that. First of all, why do you think that is? Because there's this kind of argument which is interesting. If we're not going to get too political, but sometimes people on the left don't really want the apprenticeship because they feel like it's almost like cheap or free labor, and then on the right you've got people saying no, apprenticeships is the right way. This is. But I always feel like they play this kind of politics game, like right and left. But I'll probably say most of my politics is left leaning. But also at the same time, I understand, like I'm also a capitalist, right? I understand what actually the way business works and the way how you want to progress things. So like, why do you feel like you couldn't, as a 16-year-old, where there should be a lot of examples around you, why couldn't you find someone that would take you under the wings at the time?
So I'm from one of the poorest areas in London, and in my area, there's more Ladbrokes than libraries.
Jeez.
There's more Ladbrokes than libraries. Where am I supposed to find someone? All I'm seeing is alcoholics. All I'm seeing is people on drugs. Where am I going to find someone to teach me how business works if everyone goes to the same job center? How? So I'm already behind the 8 ball. So I needed to, if I had this mindset now, I would have searched so hard to find someone who can teach me about business. The 3 ways to make money is, number 1, you need to learn how to market. What is marketing? Letting people know what you sell. The second thing is about selling, letting people know why they should buy. And the third thing, you need an amazing product. And these 3 things took me so long to find someone who can teach me these 3 things. So if I was 16 and I found out all that information, I would have been a lot further than where I am on my journey. I'm from an area where there's more Ladbrokes than libraries. So how are you supposed to find someone to teach you about business if there's no business there? Yeah,
that's the difficulty, isn't it? Because, I'm one of those people who kind of look at, Barack Obama, and I'm like, this guy's actually terrible for black people. He actually took us back, especially if you look in the American context, but, at the same time, I can also look at the context and the symbolism in what it meant for someone like him to be president, and someone like me looking at him thinking, oh, you know what? Like, if he can become the president of America, I can do anything. So I understand that symbolism. So you kind of growing up not having that, you just decide to go to college. Like, what happens next? How much effort did you even put into college? Because you didn't want to be there.
I didn't want to be there, but college is fairly simple. So I passed that, and then when I passed college, I went to university and I dropped out second year. I got to second year, I said, you know what? How long is it gonna take me to get 100K?
I did exactly the same thing. In the second year, I said,
Popped
you
out.
know
I
what?
said,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, how long is it gonna take me to get 100K job? 20 years. I haven't got 20 years. How long is it going to take me to earn six figures at work? Why are they going to give me six figures? What can I bring to the company? How can I add value? Is the job role that I'm going to go for? Is it even going to get 100K? Is there even people that get 100K? I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong industry.
What were you studying?
I was on HR management. How long is it going to take me to get H? There's some HR people that get 60K, 70K, but how long did it take them? They took years.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Those are the old ones.
The old ones. You know what I mean? When you didn't need a CV, you just go to the company. Yeah, can I have a job? They said, yeah, come on Monday. Now, CV, two interviews, this, that. I haven't got that long.
Wow. So HR, you kind of figured out in the second year, like research. People aren't gonna make 100K.
No way.
I want to make it. Why was the 100K? Like, why that feel? Why did you want to get to that six figures? What was the big deal about that?
I always used to hear about six figures. Like, if you have kids, if you have rent, if you want to retire your mum when she gets dementia, if you want to do, if you want to have a car, if you want to pay insurance, like all these things cost money. Nursery is 1,500. If you have twins, it's 3,000. If you get 2,500, you're minus £500 every single month.
Wow.
So I said, you know what? I need six figures. I want to get to this 100K mark. So how am I going to do it? So what I did after that, I went to get a job. Got sacked from there because a sales job. I wasn't making enough sales. Got another job, sales again. Got made redundant from that job. And the third job, it was a nurse recruiter role. So that is when you find a nurse and you assign her to a client and you take the commission in between. And then after I kept getting sacked from jobs, I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not their fault. It could be my fault. And if I allow them to feed me all the time, one day I'm gonna get starved. So I need a second stream of income now. And that's how it went.
Because you can't really, it's funny the way people view risk, right? There's a guy who actually had on my podcast, Aaron Knightley, and he's now doing really good things. He's had like millions of views on TikTok, and he does these street interviews, and he was interviewing people and talking about what's more risky, starting your own business or working a 9 to 5. And almost everyone says starting a business, and it's really incredible to me because I've heard so many stories now where people say, one day they just went to work and the business is shut down. No income, you've been sacked. Doesn't matter how many years you work for this business, now you don't have that income stream anymore. Now you got to start looking. And if we're looking in these tough times where perhaps people are not actually hiring, then you've lost that income and it's going to be more difficult for you to get another income. And now you're in a position where you've worked for this company for however long, you've lost all of the benefits that you've got, and you're starting again. But let's say you did even do that 40 years. You did it 40 years. You get to the pension age, what's the pension at the moment? Like £200 a week or £150 a week. Like, that's a risk for me because I'm like, I've worked hard my whole life and then I get to this position when I'm the oldest I'm going to be, I'm the most vulnerable I'm going to be, and now I'm earning the least I've ever earned in my life.
Look, this is why people now are having to say, should I heat my home or feed my kids? This is their dilemma. Because they're told to go to school, get a job, and then when you get a job, you get money, and then when you get money, you give it all back to rent, and then you have nothing. So people are having to think, should I heat my home or feed my kids? And this is the position that a lot of people are in. So it's time to kind of see how you can get out of that position. What can you do to avoid you going into that position? Because a lot of people are going to be in it. Like, they don't even know that in the next 2 years, it's going to be expensive. Like, the mortgage rates now, it's gone to 5%, 6%. So that means the landlord in the next 6 months has to put up your rent from 1,200 to now 1,600. And if you can't afford that, then you're going to have to move.
C'est la vie.
So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to move schools for your children. How's that going to affect your children's education? There's so many factors that's going to happen just from this interest rate. Wow. Your interest rates increase, so now he has to put your rent out, or he cannot afford to pay the mortgage. So now what are you going to do? You have to get 2 jobs. Well, you don't need 2 jobs. You need 2 streams of income. You need to be in 2 places at the same time.
Wow.
Nobody gets money with 3 jobs. You need 3 streams of income. You need to be in 3 places at the same time.
Wow. You've mentioned, not just them, but you've mentioned, I wanted to come back to it at the right time. You've mentioned your mom a couple of times, right? I feel like that's like a really strong influence
that's my drive.
For you. Yeah, like just tell me a bit more about that.
So my mom, she always used to push me from a young age. She always educated me and things like that. But when as I got older, I realized that the way she's on, it's not gonna stretch. It's not enough to make her go on holiday. It's not enough to make her pay every single bill. It's not enough to car insurance. It's not enough for food at work, travel to work. Travel to work in London is £220. Rent in London for a 1 bedroom is 1,500. That's £1,700. What about phone bill? £50. Like you got 250 left. What if your car breaks? Then you're zero. Then what if you have another bill? What if you get a parking ticket, £60? Then what happens? Then they put it up. Then you're £500 in there. Then you're minus. So my mom's just my why, and with that, this is why I work so hard. Like I can't take breaks. I can't take breaks because I have a why. She works for somebody she doesn't know, and that doesn't sit well with me. So until she's financially secure, I can't take breaks.
Oh, I love that, man. And it's so, I always stress the value of having goals and a vision. Like, see how passionately you just spoke then? Like, I agree with you. You can't stop. How can you stop? She's worked her whole life, worked hard to get you to where you are today. And now, she's in a position that you're not happy with. You can't stop until you get her to that position where she's more comfortable and you're happy, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, in life, you're twice a child and once an adult. So when you're young, you cannot do things for yourself. And when you're an adult, you can. And then when you get to an elderly age, you can't do something for yourself. So you're twice a child in life and once an adult. And one time, she might not be able to do something for herself. So she's going to need me. So it's time to...
That's why you're here. Amazing, bro. Okay, cool. So let's talk about how you're going to make that happen then, right? Because you've gone from his job to jobs. You're getting sacked, you're getting fired. And then one day you got to look in the mirror and say, listen, big man, maybe it's not them, Maybe I need to do something because if I keep getting sacked, whether it's my fault, whether it's their fault, doesn't matter. The reality is I need them to bring in an income. How do I change this, right?
So I said, you know what? I need a side hustle. So the easiest side hustle that you can do is buy something for a low price and sell it for a high price. So what I used to do a bit of eBay. So I used to go on Spock.com, change the toggle to 0, so they're giving everything away for free, get those things and sell it on eBay. And that just started my journey of knowing how money works, basically.
So hang on, so you used to go to a website?
Yeah,
called Spock, yeah?
Spock.com.
Do you know what? I think I remember that Spock because I think they were doing, I can't remember, but there's a lot of these different sites, but I think it was like clothing, shoes, and, little, I think it was something like that. So people were giving stuff away for free.
Yeah, so every single day, there's somebody that's giving something away for free. Some people are going to move to America. Some people are going to move to South Africa, and they got a house full of stuff. They need to get it cleared because if they don't get it cleared, they get charged for their tenancy. So I used to go and it's called house clearance. Change the toggle to maximum 0, and people are giving sofas away, just stuff away. So everything that I used to get, I used to go on eBay, see what the cheapest thing is, and sell it half the price. So I'm already in profit anyway. So that's how I started. But that got to that's not an income that's reliable. So I needed something more reliable. So then I found Amazon. And
why did you say that wasn't reliable?
Because what's gonna make somebody purchase something every single day? Who's in charge of that purchase? How does it work? Where are you gonna find something to sell every single day? Is there someone gonna be giving something away every single a day for free? Probably not. So I needed something that I know every single day that this is gonna sell, or every single month this is gonna sell, and I'm gonna make X. Because you cannot rent a home on maybe money. You cannot get a car or car insurance on maybe money. That doesn't exist. So I needed something a bit more reliable. So then I found Amazon, and then Amazon has just been absolutely crazy.
Incredible. So essentially what you're talking about there is predictability.
Yeah.
Again, taking control of your future, because if you're sitting there just let me go on Spock and hope I'll find something free today, you can't really predict how much you're going to make every single day, every single week, every single month, right?
It'll just fluctuate. You might make 1,000 here, you might make 0 tomorrow, and you can't live your life on that.
Okay. So you said Amazon. What do you mean? So how do you make money with Amazon?
So Amazon, when you buy stuff off Amazon, you're probably not buying it off Amazon. You're buying it off a third-party seller like me. So we send our products to Amazon. When we get a sale, Amazon send it straight to the customer. So it's like a 360 process. And I didn't understand how that worked for a long time. But Amazon's the biggest e-commerce business in the world.
Yep.
Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. When you sell on Amazon, you're not working for him, you're working with him. You're not your boss, he's your business partner.
Wow.
So you have access to all his warehouses, his resources, and you're selling products that already sell in the UK, and you're selling it on Amazon. And it's absolutely crazy.
Okay, cool. So basically what you're saying is you can partner up with Amazon, which is even crazy to think because this is literally the largest e-commerce brand in the world. So when I buy something from Amazon, it's actually coming from, what do you sell, bro? I wonder if I bought something from you before.
I sell things that people haven't. I sell a lot of things, but the main things I sell is what people need tomorrow that they haven't thought about buying yesterday. So what does somebody need tomorrow that they haven't bought yesterday? What is a need and what is a want? What can somebody not live without? What can somebody's mom not live without? What can not make a household function correctly? What do they need in that household? If something is not here in this podcast studio here, this podcast couldn't run. What could that be? What can make an office that turns over 10 million they use every single day?
That's so powerful. That's one of the things that we talk about in coaching, right? We say you don't know what you don't know. So it's one of those things where they don't know that they don't need it, but as soon as they see it, they're like, "That's what I need," and it's like, bang, that's kind of, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So how I even started Amazon is, a lot of stores are going to close down like this year. When I first started Amazon, a lot of stores were closing down. So I'll drive around to every single store that's closing down and I'll buy something for a low price and I sell it on Amazon for a high price. So when I sell on Amazon, nobody can beat my price because of how low I got it for. And that's how I first made my first £400, £500, £600. And then from there, it kept rolling in and I got more educated on how to sell on Amazon. And then it's just, my business has just been on autopilot.
That's interesting. So you were doing the eBay thing. I mean, it sounds like you kind of stumbled onto that.
Yeah, stumbled onto that.
Started doing it, making some change, realized this isn't really scalable.
It's not scalable.
How did you kind of know this? How did you know about this Amazon thing? How did you pivot to that? Did you have any training, coaching, anything like that?
I had a bit of training, and also I read, I watched a lot of videos. So a lot of training, a lot of books, a lot of research, like months of research. And then I made a lot of mistakes. I've lost 10,000 on Amazon because I wasn't educated.
Wow.
I lost £8,000 on Amazon because I wasn't educated. Because I purchased something and it's supposed to sell in 6 months. All of these units are supposed to sell in 6 months, but the expiry date is in 3 months. So if it doesn't sell in these 3 months, you have to liquidate your stock. So I made so many mistakes, and that is what the price I paid for not investing in training quicker. So now I've spent over £15,000 on education.
Wow, which is powerful. Yeah, which is very powerful because for me, I'm a massive believer in mentorship and education. I've spent thousands myself, but it's not spending, it's investing. If you are making that investment, know you're going to get a return. There's an ROI on it. Is very, very different because if someone could have taught you how to not lose 8,000,
I've lost 8,000, I've lost 10,000. Like education. The reason why people speak good English is because they've learned how to speak English from the age of 1. The people can walk correctly because they've learned how to walk from a young age. If you don't know how to make money, then you need a coach. And this is how you know if you need a coach. Open your bank balance, open your account on your app and look at your bank balance, and that will tell you if you need a coach or not. And that's when I realized that I needed a coach, and I needed a coach badly. Open your app on your phone, your mobile banking app, and look at your bank balance, and that will let you know if you need a coach or not. And when I looked at mine, I realized I needed a coach fast. I don't like to pay for education because in the UK everything is free. School was free, college was free, Key Stage 2 was free, Key Stage 3 was free, college is free, everything was free. So I said, why am I paying for education? And I realized that when I did pay for the education, the returns has been incredible.
Wow. So what would you say to someone who's out there right now and they they're probably in a position where they don't know what to do, they don't know how to actually get started in business at all? What's step number one?
Number one is you need to learn marketing. That is the first thing that you need to learn, marketing. How to let people know the thing that you're selling. Number 2 is sales. Why should people buy what you are selling? And 3, you need an amazing product. If the product is not good or the fulfillment's not good, people are going to complain and they're not going to buy again. So these are the first 3 things that you need to learn. How to market, how to let people know what you sell. 2, how to sell. Why should people buy the thing that you're selling? Number 3, product. These are the 3 things that I think personally that you need to start business.
Which makes a lot of sense because when people are thinking of starting, I always say first of all you have to have a goal, right? You need to understand where is it that you're actually trying to get to because it's like I always use the example for sat nav. If you just get into your car and you start the engine and you just start driving around, you're gonna end up nowhere.
Of course.
Yeah, you need to punch in that postcode, that location into the sat nav, and then the sat nav says turn left, you turn left, it says turn right, and then that's how you're gonna know. Okay, you know what? As long as I keep following this, I'm gonna get to that destination I want to get to, right?
Exactly,
But without
exactly
that,
that.
it's not nothing's gonna happen. But secondly, people don't think about the things you just said. Then
Like, if you're driving to Manchester with no sat nav and no road map, you're gonna get lost. If you have a sat nav and a road map from London to Manchester, you're gonna get there 100% of the time and on time because you know exactly where you're going. A lot of people are going nowhere fast, and that's what I was doing. I was going nowhere fast. I don't need education. Why do I need to pay for education? Everything was free, but I realized that you're missing out on so much not paying for education because you don't need to pay for education, but it's going to take you 20 years to learn that skill.
Yeah.
Or you can get that skill in 6 months.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the first thing you said, literally, as soon as we introduced us. Not introduced, but, kind of said hello. It was great to see you. And, straight away, like, success leaves clues, right?
Success
and
leaves
it's,
clues.
it's pretty much, that's pretty much what you're saying there because, the reality is people always talk about action. For me, I'm a massive believer in, knowledge is not power. That's just a lie that's been sold for many, many years. It's the application of knowledge that's the power. But if you're just applying, if you're just doing things, just taking action without having the right education first, then that's when people become despondent. I did a live in my group this morning and I was talking about that. I said, you've just got to keep going. You need to have consistency and don't worry about the results. Just keep going. But you can only do that if you know you've got the right education and you know you're following the right path. Otherwise, you could start saying, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to stop because you don't know that you're on the right path, right? Without that education, you're not sure you're on the right path. You're just taking steps. But once you've got the education and now you're taking those steps, like you said, you're guaranteed to get to Manchester.
You're guaranteed. And I had a call with my group as well yesterday, and I said, compare yourself who you are today, not who someone is yesterday.
That's so important because a lot of people do that, bro. Like yourself. I follow your content a lot, and it's incredible. Genuinely, the amount of value you give on your socials is just insane.
Yeah, because because to get to my goal, I need more friends.
Yeah.
Like,
can you explain that? What do you mean by that?
So I don't need £1 million. I don't need £2 million. I need 2 million friends. And if I have 2 million friends, it's easier to get my message across. It's easy, like 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 64, 64 to 128. That's 128 people that can invest in my business, that I can do business with, that I can joint venture on a business with. I find the information or they have the deal. I partner up with the money, etc. And that's how it's easier to get to my goal by that. I don't need 100,000, 200,000, 1 million, 2 million. I don't need that. I need 2 million friends. And if you had 2 million friends, it's easier to get to your goal.
Yeah.
So you need more people, because if you have more people, you have more information. If you have 2 million friends, somebody's gonna know what's the next crypto to go up. Somebody's gonna know where's the next area, which is going to be Article 4, so you can buy a house before Article 4 and do a HMO there. Somebody's gonna know where is when the Disneyland, quote unquote Disneyland, is going to Kent, what month, so you can have your service accommodation in that area. If you have a lot of friends, but if you don't,
this is my field. This guy knows.
But
you have got friends.
Yeah, but
I can tell you're meant to be like the e-commerce guy. You're talking stuff in my world.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because I have a lot of friends. So a lot of people are giving me this information. But if I didn't have those amount of friends or that many followers, I wouldn't get this information. So that information, like if I didn't have that many followers, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have got that information that we spoke about earlier. There's so much information that you can get by getting a lot more friends. Like, see, you go to so many networking events, and that's inspiring. And you're picking up so much information. Now you know about Amazon FBA. You might do that. Now you know about this, how to sell, how to market, by just getting more friends. So yeah,
incredible. What advice would you give to people in terms of, because what I found, I have a keynote presentation that I do when I talk about the power of networking, and I talk about a lot of these things, right? But what advice would you give to someone into, there's one thing coming across, people and, meeting people, but what advice would you give to someone to actually nurture relationships?
First thing, you need to be genuine. And the first thing, you need to be genuine. And second thing, you need to not think you're better than anyone. I need to be open to learning. Like, you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach. There's always a value in a conversation, and there's so much information that you picked up. The first 5 minutes downstairs, I picked up so much information from you. Just 5 minutes. What if I spent 2 hours with you? How much information that can lead me to? That can lead me to 100K just there. That 5-minute conversation can lead me to 100K. So when you're building a relationship, why should somebody be your friend? Why is somebody going to give you that information? Is it value? what can you give to them? What can you be open to learn? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think build relationships, man. That's gonna take you far. Like I made £20,000 in a month on Amazon. I made 30K in a month on Amazon. I made 35K on a month on Amazon because I've built a relationship. I've made a supplier sell me something. There's 1,000 people that sell on Amazon. Why is somebody gonna sell something to me and not them? Because I've got a relationship. I've got a friend. So when he gets something, instead of phoning those 1,000 people, he's gonna phone me first and say, you know what, this is coming in 2 weeks. Do you want it? And we're gonna have a conversation, etc. And that's the art of building a relationship. You get stuff first. And if I didn't build a relationship and I just went online and just bought something, he wouldn't know who I am. He wouldn't know what I can bring, how much I offer, how much money I'm just gonna spend. Because I built a relationship every single week. He's saying, Devon, this is what's coming. It's 15 grand. It's 20 grand. It's gonna make this, and I can get it first.
Wow. Powerful. Like genuinely, if that's the only thing that people take away from this, like they've got to understand the power of what you just said then. Because what I found is I speak to a lot of people and typically, so let's talk about networking, for example. People want to go to a networking event and then they meet someone, and if they don't get any results from that day, they never come back to that networking event, which to me is just incredibly crazy because when has that ever happened in any relationship? When have you met someone from the first time and then say, hey, I need 10 grand and they've just given it to you?
Well, you have to ask yourself, would you give someone 10 grand if you just met them without any value? No. You know what I
Exactly
mean?
that.
And what I want people that listen to this podcast, I want them to actually believe in themselves. Like some people are earning £1,500. Do you think you're not worth more than £1,500 a month? Do you think you're not worth more than £1,700 a month? Well, you are. A lot of people are not smarter than you. They just started first. People need to believe in themselves. If you don't believe in yourself, you cannot win. You need to believe in yourself, or you're not gonna win. Like,
why does that? Why does belief matter?
Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not gonna go nowhere. Because you need to know that there's something better. You need to see what doesn't exist.
What do you mean by that?
So you need to see what doesn't exist yet. If you knew how your life would be in 10 years, you'll probably do that from now. But you just can't see it. But it's there, you just can't see it. So you need to believe, you need to be able to see what doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like I don't like when I was 16, I didn't know what business I would do at this age, but I knew I'll be doing something.
Wow.
I knew I'll be doing something. I knew I'll be in the right circles to find information. I didn't know where, what area, with who. I didn't know I'll be in this podcast at this time, but I knew I'll be around this type of people. I had to see what didn't exist.
It's so powerful you just said that, bro, because it's really interesting to me because, you know, especially a lot of people within our community, they've grown up with religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, or whatever it is, you know, and both of these doctrines, you know, essentially talking about the power of belief and talking about just praying and believing and it shall come to pass. But it's almost like we get into this world and then the world just beats us up and we kind of forget about this power of belief. But there's so much examples of it out there. You know, I'm a master believer in meditation. I meditate every single morning and I do my visualization practice every single morning. My goals are very, very clear. Like I know the house I'm going to be living in the next 3 years. I don't know where it is, but I see the house every single day. It's so real to me. I don't even worry about where the house is. I'm going to find a house and I'm going to buy the house and my family's going to live there. It's just that very, very clear to me. And I know that because there's been so many examples already of things that have happened from that visualization. But there is nothing that has ever come to pass in this world that didn't first start with thought. This microphone. Someone didn't just start making a microphone. They kind of thought, you know what if I could have something that someone can speak into and it amplifies the voice? They thought about that first. They didn't just start making it. They thought about, okay, so what would that look like? How can I put that together to actually make it work? And then they start reverse engineering it, yeah? But it starts with the thought first. Without thought, what really is there?
Idea will turn into money. Idea will turn into money. And I want people to actually understand, like, in 2023, if you're not making money, you're making problems.
What do you mean?
If you're not making money in 2023, you're making serious problems. You don't know how life is going to be next year, in 2 years. So you need to find a way how to make money. It's not about being rich. I don't want to be rich. I want to go to the gym at 11 o'clock. I want to go to the steam room at 2. I want to walk the dog at 3. That's my success. I don't want to be rich. That's not me. I just don't want to worry about money. I don't want that to be a stress. I got other stresses. I don't want to worry. I don't want money to be a stress in my life. And that's what my type of success is. I want to travel the world, but it costs money. So you need to understand money and how it works and how you can get some. And you need to pick you need a side hustle and you need a skill. If you're not making money, you're obviously not good at something and you haven't got the skill. So first you're going to master the skill. You're going to do a lot of things to master that skill. And when that skill is mastered, it's going to be a lot easier for you to acquire money because you've got the skill. A lot of people don't have the skills. They just want money. It doesn't work like that. You need the skills. How many hours of audiobooks have you read? How many books have you read about money and how it works or how it will translate into your life? You need the skill. And a lot of people said, yeah, I want money. I want 100K, 200K, but you haven't got the skill. You want 100K with a £1,000 skill. No.
There is no shortcut to success, is it?
There's no shortcut.
You know, and the truth is, not that it would be great, because it isn't. Because when you work hard for something, like the fulfillment of when it actually comes to pass is so much better. You know, that's the truth. If something just comes to you, then you're just taking it. And again, I know that's gonna sound a bit like, no, I'd rather just have it. Trust me, there's a much deeper sense of satisfaction when you've worked hard for something. But also, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I know how hard I work. Like, there's no way you can expect to have the things I've got if you're not working, 10 times the amount of work that I'm putting in. It just doesn't work like that.
If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. If you don't pay, you do not pay attention. Only when I started to pay for education, I started to listen. Because it's coming out of my pocket. So if you're not going to pay for something, just forget it, because you're not going to pay attention. You need to feel the kick in you. Wow, I just paid for it. Ooh, I got to get my return on investment, because that's a lot. So when I started to pay, I started to level up.
Start to listen.
I started to listen.
Because you got to feel the hurt. I always say you got to have your back against the wall a little bit.
You have to.
Right? I was in a consultation call the other day, and the guy was saying to me, well, look, if you can get me this result, then, why don't I just start? I promise you I'll pay you double. And I said, no, you won't. Because the reality is, you're not going to do the work. Because you haven't invested in yourself. You haven't backed yourself. You've seen the results I'm talking about that other people are getting. So it's possible for you if you're going to do the work. But if you can't back yourself, I say it's never about the money.
Anything is possible. If someone's doing something, if somebody else can do something, then you can do it too. Anything is possible. But you need to put in the work. Like, you need the skill. And the skill will come from putting in the work. Skills come from doing something over and over and over. And that is how you're going to acquire the skill. If you don't have the skill, you're not going to make money.
Amazing.
When you make money, it's going to run away from you because you don't have the skill how to keep it, how to multiply it. How does money work? Where is money coming from?
So if I was someone today and I was thinking of starting off, in e-commerce and Amazon FBA, is that FBA? What does that actually mean? What does FBA mean?
So fulfilled by Amazon. So that's when Amazon fulfill your orders. So when you buy something, you send it to Amazon, they send it to your customer, and you get paid. That's the cycle.
Okay, brilliant. So if someone was thinking of getting started in that today, what would be for you? What would be the first 3 steps that they need to take?
The first 3 steps I would say is get educated, get education from someone, and actually listen when they're speaking. Listen to the education, take notes, absolutely every single thing, pick their brain. So get educated about Amazon, how it works, how to make the most money in a short space of time. The next thing, you need to think about how to source products. So what products are you going to be selling? Sell things that people need, that people cannot live without. Sell things that people have to buy every single day. The third thing I would say is repeat those processes and build relationships. So the first thing, get educated, understand how Amazon works. Get all the notes down, information to the T. Second thing, sell things that people cannot live without. The third thing, I would say build relationships with people that sell large volume of stock, 30,000 units, 20,000 units, 10,000 units. And these are the people that's going to get you from point A to point B.
Amazing. Bro, like, honestly, this has been so incredible. I'm super excited. I'm super grateful for you having come in. I know I've been trying to get you on here for a little minute. I know you're a busy man, but listen,
we made it happen.
We made it happen, and I'm super excited and super grateful. But look, just before we round off, we've got a final question, a tradition on the podcast, which is, bro, to be honest, again, just coming from the community, I'm just super proud of you, what you've been able to achieve and what you're doing as well for the community, because the information you're giving out is crazy. And, I'm sure you got students who have listened and implemented, but, people can literally go on there, listen to what you're saying and start, at least get off the ground. And then when they're going to get to a point where, they really need, to elevate themselves, then really coming to yourself for coaching it's an absolute no-brainer. But the amount of information you're giving out there is just, it's crazy. And there's no one doing that in the UK in your field. It's mental. People got to go and, check you out, bro. Devon _entrepreneur. Go and check him out. But today, what remains your need to succeed?
Wow. I think patience. Everything I want too fast. I gotta be patient. And if I'm patient, I will succeed because I'm following the right steps. It's just gonna take a while because what I'm doing and what I want to do, it requires a lot of skills. And the skills takes time to develop. So as long as I'm patient, it will come. So
Amazing.
patience. You got to be patient. You can't want 20 million tomorrow because you got the 20 million pound skill? Have you got the £1 million skill? Have you got the 10 million pound skill? It's gonna take a while to develop these skills in order to get that 20 mil, to get that 50 mil. So the one thing I'll say is patience.
Amazing. Well, listen, Mr. Devon Entrepreneur, thank you very much, my brother.
Lessons, bro.